Hello, Embrace Creatives community. This is Fernando Del Rosario coming at you for episode 9 for this video podcast that I am doing with Embrace Creatives. The idea behind this video podcast is for me to share my both personal and professional insights in regards of the juggle between being an artist, being an entrepreneur, a business person, and also a marketing, communication, and advertising professional. I own my own design, marketing, advertising agency. I work with multiple clients for their branding, for their marketing, for their advertising of their products, companies, organizations, services. As I do for myself, I obviously do my own marketing and advertising for not just my business, but also for my work, my artwork, my gallery shows, my events, and so on. I also teach. I am an educator. I've been teaching for the last 18 years in a college and university level. So I love sharing ideas with people. So as all of my video podcasts, I always start with a question. So this question is for today is how to pivot. I want to try to be timely and relevant with our conversations. And we are now 7 months into COVID-19 since March. When COVID-19 really hit all of us as a nation, as a community. And within that 7 months, I would say that I would say I pivoted at least, I feel like once, twice, maybe even 3 times every week since March. And whether it be for my organization, my company, the way I teach, the classes that I'm teaching, and also my art. I've pivoted left and right for it, just because we are all trying to figure this stuff out, right? Although we've had recessions before, we've had turmoils, we've had pause in our society. This is kind of new in its own. So we're all in this giant, crazy storm all together. And so we are figuring things out, as I am. And through those figuring things out stages, I had to pivot. I had to make a change. I had to figure out a different way on how to communicate, my messages, my art, my creativity. This video podcast is a pivot. This is not something that I have normally have done before, and so I needed to kind of figure out a different way to communicate to my community, to my other artist friends, and so this is a true form of pivoting, and so the question is like, how do you do that? How have you done that? How do you do it? And it's one of those questions or answers that is so simple that it's easy to dismiss, and if anything at all, maybe even easy to just say, "Bah, that's crazy," or easy just to not do, which is just the old Nike tagline: "Just do it." It's really that simple, and again, it's so easy and so simple. It's really simple. It's not easy. That it's easy to dismiss, or it's easy not to do. It's that simple. But yes, it's so difficult to do. It is very difficult to do because it is uncertain, and you don't know what's gonna come out of it, out of that pivot. You're gonna, will you look like a fool? Will you look like an amateur? Would it be a waste of time? Would people make fun of you? So all these questions that starts to revolve around that decision to try something different, to pivot. What happens is that we tend to focus on those questions and those uncertainties and all those fears to a point where we just don't do it. you know, and and uh, just doing it sometimes just helps you get over that, and then you try it and you do it. So then the question is like, well, okay, you're right, Fernanda, this is really really simple, but you're right, it's not really really easy. So how do you do it? And just like anything else, it's the consistency of doing it. It's the training of constantly doing it and trying it. So I'll give you another example. Literally 60 seconds before I hit record on this video podcast, I didn't want to do this. I didn't feel like doing it. Right? I didn't want to be in front of this camera sharing this with you. Not because I didn't want to share it with you. I just didn't feel like it. And so I just did it. I sat down, I set my phone up, and I hit record, and I went for it. And those little things of just doing it, whether it be small, whether it be medium, whether it be larger things, all adds up. And the idea is to consistently do it, consistently just trying it. And through those moments of trying, it becomes a little bit of a second nature just to do it. You know, sometimes you do it before you can talk yourselves out of it, because you've just consistently have tried to do something different, to pivot. So then what do you do with that? And just like in past conversations, past podcasts that I've done, is that's your story. That's where you start to create a story out of that. Everyone's going to remember what 2020 is going to be is like. 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, everybody is going to look back at this 2020. And what kind of a story have you created within this year? And through these moments of pivots, a story comes out of it. A narrative comes out of it. How you have pivoted, how you have changed, how you have tried something different is your story. And that right there is part of your creative journey. And that should be part of your narrative. And that should inspire other artwork. And that can be and should be part of your marketing story. And people who are interested in your art, people who want to see your art, are interested in those things, in those moments of vulnerability, of fear, of uncertainty. But more importantly, how you became brave and you did it anyways. You pushed that record button and just went for it. I hope this was helpful with everyone. I will continue to make these episodes. As always, please, what are your questions? I love doing these videos with a question in mind. It really kind of it fuels me, and hopefully it also I'm able to answer your question, and so it's more meaningful to you and this community. Thank you for taking the time, and I look forward to the next conversation. Have a good one.